Okay, so what if I told you that pretty much everything you've ever heard about building confidence is, well, wrong? Today, we're going to flip the script on one of the most common pieces of self-help advice out there and show you the real, science-backed way to build self-belief that actually lasts. We've all heard this one, right? It's that little voice in our heads that whispers, just wait. Wait until you feel ready, and then you can go for it. I mean, it sounds so smart, so safe. But what if that feeling of safety is actually a cage? Well, guess what? Modern psychology, neuroscience, they're all here to tell you that this idea isn't just a little off, it's completely backwards. The science is crystal clear on this. You don't wait for the feeling. You create the feeling by taking action. And look, this myth isn't just harmless. It's a trap. We're calling it the great confidence lie because it literally creates a cycle that can keep you stuck, sometimes for years, waiting for a magical feeling that might never show up on its own. So here's the bottom line. There's this concept in therapy called behavioral activation, and it basically proves that we have it all wrong. We think motivation leads to action, but it's the other way around. Action creates motivation. So waiting to feel confident, it's really just a comfortable, cozy form of avoidance, and it keeps you completely paralyzed. So if waiting is the problem, what on earth is the solution? Well, it's all about understanding this powerful engine you have inside your own brain, an engine that literally builds confidence from the ground up. Let's take a look under the hood. Check this out. Inside your head, there's kind of this constant battle going on. You've got the amygdala, your fear center, and it's screaming, danger, abort mission. But when you decide to take action anyway, your prefrontal cortex, the pilot of your brain, grabs the controls. It basically sends a message back to the fear center saying, hey, thanks for the input, but I've got this. And every single time you do that, you make the pilot stronger and the alarm system quieter. And this right here, this creates the engine we're talking about, the confidence-competence loop. Think of it like an upward spiral. You take action, which builds a little bit of skill or competence, and that new competence is what generates real earned confidence. You don't think your way into feeling confident, you act your way into it. Here's exactly how that spiral gets going. First, you take one tiny action, even if you're scared. Second, you get a little bit better at it. You gain some confidence. Third, and this is the magic part, your brain rewards you with a hit of dopamine, which is like a chemical, hey, good job. And fourth, that reward physically strengthens the connections in your brain for that action, making it just a little bit easier the next time. That, my friends, is how confidence is born. Okay, so the theory sounds great, right? But how do you actually start this engine when you're feeling totally overwhelmed? The secret? You have to forget about those massive, scary goals, and instead, you learn the art of winning small. This idea comes from a psychologist named Carl Wake. He realized that when you look at a huge goal, your brain just panics. But if you can break it down into what he called mere problems, these tiny, totally solvable steps, your anxiety doesn't spike, and you can actually start moving forward. And here is the perfect example, the one push-up challenge. The idea of a full hour-long workout, exhausting. But one single push-up? Come on, anyone can do that. The barrier to entry is practically zero. But the real magic happens once you're already down on the floor. You've already started, and more often than not, you end up doing more. You've just tricked your brain into getting past the hardest part of anything, just starting. Another really powerful technique is called habit stacking. This is where you anchor a new, tiny habit you want to build onto one you already do on autopilot. So like you see here, maybe you stack writing in your journal right after you pour your morning coffee. The coffee becomes the trigger, so you don't even have to think about it or rely on willpower. It's brilliant. All right, so once you've gotten the hang of winning small, you can start using that momentum to go after some of your bigger fears. And for that, we're going to use a tool called the Confidence Challenge Ladder. Let's use a classic fear, public speaking. You wouldn't just jump straight to the final presentation, right? No way. You start on the bottom rung of the ladder, maybe a difficulty of 2 out of 10, just reading your speech out loud in an empty room. Then you level up. You read it to a good friend, then a small group. This process of gradual exposure is called desensitization. You are slowly, safely teaching your nervous system that this threat isn't actually a threat at all. Now, a few pro tips to make this work even better. First, and this is crucial, stay in the uncomfortable situation until your anxiety naturally starts to go down. Don't run away. Second, gamify it. Think of each step as unlocking a new level in a video game. And third, my personal favorite, adopt the persona of a disobedient teenager. When that anxious voice in your head tells you to stop, just playfully say, "Nah, I don't think so," and keep going. We are now at the final, and I've got to say, the most frequently skipped piece of this whole puzzle. You've taken the action, you've climbed the ladder, but if you don't do this next step, the whole system can just fall apart. You have to, you must celebrate. And let me be really, really clear about this. Celebration is not self-indulgent. It's not a fluffy nice to have. It is a biological requirement. When you skip celebrating your wins, you are literally starving your brain of the dopamine it needs to stay motivated. It is a one-way ticket to burnout because you're doing all of the hard work with none of the neurological reward. One absolutely brilliant way to put this into practice is by swapping your stressful to-do list for an empowering ta-da list. Think about it. A to-do list just points out everything you haven't done yet, which creates anxiety. But a to-do list, which you fill out after you've done something, becomes this amazing visual record of all your daily victories. It's undeniable proof that you're making progress. And to make celebration an automatic habit, you can create something called a dopamine menu. This is your own personalized list of quick, healthy, joyful rewards that you can go to the second you complete a small win or climb a rung on your challenge ladder. And as you can see, these don't have to be huge, expensive things. We're talking a 5-minute dance party in your kitchen, stepping outside to feel the sun on your face. These little micro-celebrations are the ultimate antidote to perfectionism because they hardwire your brain to value the progress, not just the perfect outcome. So, after all this, the only real question left is, what's it going to be for you? What is the one tiny, almost too easy micro-challenge that you can take on today to get your own confidence-competence loop started? And hey, if you need some ideas, here's a little starter pack just for social confidence. Pick one, just one. Make eye contact with a stranger and smile. Say hi to that neighbor you always just nod at. In your next conversation, try talking just a tiny bit louder than you normally would. Remember, the goal isn't perfection. The goal is simply action. So please remember this. Confidence is not some magical personality trait you're either born with or you're not. It is not something you have. It's a result. It's a skill. It's the evidence that piles up one small, brave action at a time. Confidence is something you build. Now go build it.